Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, Plain Edge Board of Education meeting. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dr. Selena?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Those people here with us tonight virtually, as well as those people that are here with our very special guests today. What I'm going to do tonight is, so first of all, I would like to give a big round of applause to all of these super students that are here with us tonight and their families that came with us. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to not do any of my comments until they have spoken, and I'm going to turn it over to the STEAM team today so that we can have some very engaging activities. I know we're going to be playing Bloxels today, correct? Yes? Not familiar with Bloxels and you haven't heard about it in your house, you're about to learn what they are. And at this point in time, I'll turn it over to the teachers.
So as I get the slides prepared, tonight we have Dr. Eileen Santoro from East Plain Elementary as our STEAM specialist. Our other STEAM specialist from John H. West is Ms. Alexis Stola from Charles U. Shorting. We have Samantha McHugh, and we have our two who are also known to our students as Professor Planet and Sir Saturn, Mr. Perry Fuchs and Mr. Kevin White.
And I'd also like to thank our principals for being here with us tonight. As I take a look back here. Mr. Zalahar, Pocarelli, and Mr. Mazzano. He's back behind the pole there. I see you.
And
Thank you for being with us tonight with your students.
and Ms. Debbie Fallon wishes she could be here, but she is representing us as the Teacher Center Directive in a conference, so she unfortunately could not be here today.
Good evening. Thank you to the Board of Education and Administration for having us here tonight with all of these amazing students. We would like to just start by giving you a quick overview of what has been going on with STEAM and Asset. Asset is a technology group on Long Island. So we have three things we would like to highlight. The first thing is our very own Debbie Fallon was recognized. She received the 2024 Asset Bright Light Award for innovation and helping students and teachers succeed. It's great. We are very excited because at the Asset Conference in March, actually next Monday, the STEAM team is going to be presenting, as well as John Dominguez and Will Bertolotti. They will be presenting on the secondary level. So we have two presentations there. And lastly, in February, Asset hosted their meeting in Plain Edge, which was very exciting. Over 50 technology leaders came to Plain Edge. They were able to see our STEAM studio, our greenhouse, the planetarium, and learn about secondary stream opportunities. So that was really amazing. We want to take a moment now to show you a quick video about all the amazing things that are going on in our STEAM studios.
Welcome to the Plain Edge STEAM Labs. In just a moment, you will be transported to a land full of opportunity, wonder, discovery, and exploration for pre-K through 5th grade students of all abilities. Buckle up, strap in your seatbelts, and let's explore.
Hi there, I'll be your guide today to the Plain Edge STEAM Labs. In Plain Edge STEAM, we are grateful to have opportunities that allow students to utilize their growth mindsets and hone skills in critical thinking, communication, creativity, and collaboration. While the world is rapidly evolving, new skills are becoming job essentials for the future leaders of tomorrow in each of our STEAM studios. Each STEAM studio has 3 different spaces: the STEAM Lab, the Student Greenhouse, and the Outdoor Learning Space. In the lab, students have access to state-of-the-art technology like iPads, Chromebooks, drones, robots, and more. The flexible seating and furniture such as whiteboard tables allow students to be students in ways that work best for them. Next, let's take a step outside the Plain Edge Greenhouse, where student plants and minds grow. All students in the building have an active role in maintaining the greenhouse. Each year, they grow different plants. Depending on their grade level, they learn a little bit more about being botanists. Whether it's through pumpkin predictions in pre-K or plant propagation in 4th grade, they are the botanists who keep the greenhouse running. Finally, let's head to our outdoor learning space, where we have benches for sitting, sails for shade, electricity for our devices, and an outdoor demonstration station with a sink and all. We also have outdoor garden beds where students plant farm-to-table vegetables and herbs. They learn how marigolds are friends and protectors of other plants, and how they each can be a marigold. Now that you've learned a little bit about our STEAM studio, let's blast off into some of the amazing things that happen here. Through robots such as Bebop, Ozobot, Dash, Dog, and more, their understanding of sequencing, commands, and algorithms flourish. Using their programming skills, students often create programs connected to their curriculum. Planet students begin coding right from pre-K and build upon their coding skills each year. In upper elementary grades, we have introduced a drone program where students can use their coding knowledge to take learning to new heights. Students also design their own video games using boxes. They create storylines which include the development of heroes, villains, and the plot of a story. By using their imaginations, students bring their literature into the virtual gaming world. This is a great way to reach children with diverse learning styles using physical or digital blocks to create characters and settings. 3D printing is an integral part of our future. We are so grateful to have access to it in our STEAM studios. Students are introduced to 3D Doodler pens in the younger grades. They are great for beginners just looking at a 3D print. Students use the 3D pens to make shapes and letters. To culminate their 3D printing experience in the upper grades, students use a website called Tinkercad to create their own custom keychains. CAD stands for Computer Aided Design. Students are able to use their one-to-one Chromebooks for this project. Our students are not only being exposed to these various technologies in STEAM, but are also being guided to be the engineers and designers of tomorrow. They participate in multiple challenges that promote the engineering design process. This process encourages students to imagine, plan, design, build, and most importantly, improve their creations. Some examples of these challenges are the Bridge Building Challenge, the Pom Pom Catapult Challenge, and the Goldilocks Chair Design Challenge. In addition, students in kindergarten through 5th grade were provided with a learning opportunity to explore technology tools and methods as they created different forms of media such as digital green screen postcards in Canva and public service announcement videos in WeVideo. Each grade completed a media creation that focused on a particular character trait of Planet's pride and core values through a unique media program that targeted specific skills. Students shared their fun projects with an authentic audience such as classmates, other grade levels, or even their families. Through this media period, students are becoming stronger digital citizens while developing skills for the 22nd century. Although you have just seen a wide array of curriculum, projects, challenges, and technologies, that's just a sampling of what happens in our STEAM studios. When students leave the STEAM labs, the learning does not stop. Our STEAM program continues to host several major community events throughout the year to strengthen the homeschool connection. In order to further develop the homeschool connection and take the STEAM experience outside the classroom, students traveled to the edge of the ocean. This immersive STEAM event took students and their families under the sea with performers from the high school drama club and a video conference with a live scuba diver from the Texas State Aquarium to learn about underwater ecosystems. In addition, students have an annual robot connection for 3rd and 5th graders and a STEAM night that hosts over 800 students and their families in various STEAM-related workshops. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We hope you enjoyed this educational STEAM ride.
Thank you all for watching that video, highlighting some of the amazing things our students get to do in STEAM. We're very grateful to work on with our students in STEAM. And today we have 12 amazing students from John H. West, East Plain, and Schwarting representing the entire 5th grade for one of their favorite units, Flopsville. So at this point in time, we're going to turn it over to our STEAM stars, who will, let's line up friends and then we'll introduce ourselves. All right, awesome. Right.
My name is Rosalie Reed. I'm from Shorting and I'm in 5th grade. My name is Angelo Tranquina. I'm in fifth grade and I'm from Shorten. My name is Grayson Paredes. I'm a fifth grader and I go to Shorten.
My name is Walter Gilroy. I'm a fifth grader and I go to Shorten.
My name is Kate Jenicky and I'm a fifth grader at Johnny Trust. My name is Adriana Russo and I'm a fifth grader at Johnny Joy. My name is Mateo and I'm a fifth grader at John H. West. My name is Liam Walsh and I'm a fifth grader at John H. West. My name is Dylan McNerney and I'm a fifth grader and I go to East Plain. My name is Alessia and I'm a fifth grader at East Plain. I'm Noelle Pinto and I go to East Plain in fifth grade. My name is Rocco Fodi and I go to East Plain in fifth grade. Thank you so much for inviting us to join you at this board meeting. In the video you just watched, you saw a glimpse of all the amazing things we're able to do in STEAM, from coding to engineering challenges and more. STEAM is a place where we're each able to learn about advanced topics and technology in a fun way. Today we're going to focus on one of our favorite STEAM experiences, video game engineering. Video game engineers really need to be collaborative as they often work with many other programmers to design the best game possible. Having a strong growth mindset is also really important so they can persevere and work through any problems that come up when creating their video game. These skills will help us in the future. Maybe in high school we will join the esports class one day. You just heard about the skills that help a video game engineer. In STEAM, we are able to take on the role of video game engineer with Voxels. Voxels is an awesome tool that allows us to go into the driver's seat and design video games from our imagination. Some of the games we make in STEAM can even be published on Voxels.com and played by students from all around the world.
As we create our video games, it is important for us to follow the engineering design process just like we do in our other STEAM projects. Each project gives us a challenge to solve. Engineers also have constraints or limits to keep in mind with each of their challenges. The engineering design process has 7 special steps. We ask, imagine, plan, create, test, and most importantly, improve and share designs. We plan out our games either on planning pages or on the dry erase tables in the STEAM studios. Sometimes we design video games to highlight a piece of writing we wrote in our classrooms or come up with a goal for our character to achieve throughout our game. Planning our video game is an opportunity for us to be creative and to also use our prior knowledge. Each video game is like a story as it has a unique storyline. We plan our characters such as heroes and villains. We also choose our characters' traits such as clever or kind. Each game also has a setting such as a beach or a city. Our video games also each have a problem and a solution which helps someone win the game. In a moment, we are going to coach each of you to help create a character for a video game we have created. But first, we want to give you a quick tour of Bloxels. We are so grateful our district has a subscription to Bloxels so that we are able to create, save, and share our video games. After we play our video game, the next step is to log in by going to play.bloxels.com, entering our school code and Bloxels password. To start a new game, we click Builder, Games, Create New Game, and Platformer. Then we design our background. To do so, click the background builder icon on the top left. Here, you could use your artistic skills to create an original background using the paint tools, or you can create a select pre-made background to add to your background to your game. Click the BG background button in the bottom right. Next, we create our main character, which is often a hero. We click the character icon in the top left and then choose Create New Character. We name our character file to keep organized. Here, we use the colored blocks to design a pixelated character similar to creations in Minecraft. We then animate our characters using the animation tabs at the bottom of the screen. On the idle tab, we show our character standing still. Then, we copy and paste 2 copies of the idle image onto the walk tab. We make some changes on the second walk frame to make our character look like it is walking. For example, we might change the placement of the character's legs. We repeat these steps on the jump and fall tab to create our animations to make our character jump and fall in our games. We test our animations often with the green test button and make changes as needed. To add our character to our game, we click the character icon on the bottom left. Then we click Edit and then choose our character. We can also design a villain to add to our game.
Just click the Art Builder button on the top left. Click Create New Art and then name the villain file. Then use the art and animation tools to create and animate your villain, similar to when we made the main character. To add the villain to the game, add a purple block to the game and then click Art Library on the second tab on the bottom. Next, you click the purple block in your video game to change it into your villain. Then you can click Configure to change the villain further. Now we are ready to start creating our game using the block guide. Now the blocks have special meanings and powers. For example, the blue block is water, which will allow you to swim. The green block is land, which lets you run and jump. We tried to make our game a little easier in the beginning and then have it become more challenging as the game goes on. Other blocks that were added in the game were yellow coin blocks, red block hazards, and yellow power and pink powers.
The white blocks are super helpful as they are story blocks and let us add dialogue to the game. For example, when a player encounters a white block at the beginning of the game, if a player hits shift, a message might appear that says, "Welcome to Monster Island." At the end of the game, a white block might make the message, "You have defeated the Monster King" appear.
When we complete our Boxels game, we test and revise it several times. Then we ask a peer programmer to try our game, and then we revise more based on their feedback. Finally, we celebrate and enjoy each other's accomplishments by playing each other's video games in a Steam digital arcade. This helps give us some inspiration for our next video game creation.
Now we are going to be your own blogs coaches and guide you to be video game engineers as we help you create an animated character that we can add into our blogs game.
So before everyone gets to their station, let's give them all a great round of applause. I need you to get up in front of everybody, and you all did an amazing job. So we are excited to learn how to do this now. So would you like everybody to join somebody? So if everyone can go join a student, and they are going to show you how to create, as they said, a character in their own video games they have created for all of you tonight.
Yeah.
Rosalie, this is really long. Yeah. Someone else.
We have two.
I always wanted to learn how to do this.
I don't.
What's the name of the game? Okay. Love that. Okay. So what candy do you ready to create?
Right, first character. Say. Right, Sam.
Oh, that's just happened.
Oh, okay. My goodness. Okay. Let's do.
Actually, no, we gotta make the pepperoni first, right? One bite first.
Change that.
Oh, really?
I'm done, I'm just going.
Okay.
My niece is not.
Go ahead.
All right. It's more looking like a pizza than waiting on the board. So it's more like a coffee. Maybe take one of the bites.
Spot.
Oh, yeah, that's better. A cherry.
Wow, it looks good.
Oh, I go back to this.
I like it.
If you glue, that's going out. Right there on the border.
Oh, I saw.
Yeah, I get that. No, not you.
Oh, no, I'm trying.
That looks like people fast.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, thank you. Now, how do I make this? Yeah. Okay. There he is.
Your background's nice.
Did you have to move it from each side? The four?
Whatever.
Oh, I guess. Zero? Stay here. Why, James?
The whole thing.
We had like.
Go back here.
Which is a good pair. One eighty.
I didn't get to question my calendar.
What if I just say bend my knees? So I make some good on. Oh. Raise the middle one. Just wow. Jumping just going up.
Now you can go back. Nice crowd.
Where's that? I've never seen it. I've seen people. Very cool. Very creative. And this is our
All right, friends, we're gonna do a quick 30-second warning.
30-second warning.
Right. Okay, wow. Okay, so how do you make them? Yeah. All right. Here, upside down. Watch. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, show them. Are you gonna put in the guy? I just created that guy. It kind of looks like me, right? Yeah, please. The hero, I made myself the hero. All right, so just. We gotta move. I got 49. Wow. I just, yeah. With his help, of course. That's awesome, man.
So you can now make also make it very related. Yeah. So much. I'm still getting back. It's really special. That was great. Come on, you're about to Good job.
Wow, that was amazing. A big round of applause for our team. Amazing, we were able to build a video game in a short window of time with your help. Remind me a lot of us Mario Brothers there, but somebody else built it. You were the builders, and you did a great job, and I want to thank you for coming to share what you've been learning about, and for also taking the time to work with the board and the rest of the central administrators here tonight. I never cease to be amazed by the creativity and ingenuity of students like yourselves that design and create and give purpose to their games that become a reality in the future. So never stop dreaming. Robotics is here to stay and programming is here to stay. In the next year, you'll be experiencing more computer science. We'll be launching a new computer science curriculum that you'll all be part of. So it's going to be something that'll be really amazing, and you already have a big head start. So it's something that is just absolutely something to be really happy and proud of. And I want to thank all the parents for being with us here tonight, the teachers, and all of our administrators, and of course, our amazing STEAM team. Technology has always been near and dear to my heart. That was a long time ago. That's where I met Dr. LaValliant. Dr. LaValliant actually was the founding member of the Asset Foundation in Suffolk County. He was the first president of that probably about 25 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time
It's a
ago.
long time ago.
1990 something.
Yeah, but that's when computers weren't what they were today, and they weren't as light as the ones you see here that you carry today. They were really more personal computers, but I think the strongest computer I had in my hand was a TI-80 calculator. That was what I needed for school.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't know what a TI-80 calculator is, you can look it up later. You can see what it looks like.
We have
But-
newer versions.
Yes. There's still TI calculators, just not the 80. So I want to thank you all for coming tonight. And then at this point in time, we're going to take a nice picture. So I'm going to push these tables back a little bit. And I'm going to ask you all to come up front. I'd like your teachers as well as the board to join me up front here. We're going to take a picture with our students tonight.
Oh, that's awesome. So like they.
I would like these tables.
Come on, boys and girls, come on up front. You're all going to look out.
That's
Let me like-
not the way that's why they're closing this.
You two young men, I'm gonna have to come stand up, yeah? Get the adults behind, come straight across, please. We're gonna have to get a little bit closer here. All right?
Okay, you are happy to talk. I gotta stand behind someone else.
Right, good for you, was sixth grade.
Parents, please feel free to get up to take pictures. You don't need to stay seated, please. Move any way you want. Appreciate you all coming tonight. A big round of applause for all of our students. I want to thank you all for coming. I know you have homework and baths and showers and everything else to do tonight. Thank you, parents, for being here with us tonight. Gonna wait a couple minutes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Plymouth Public Schools proud to host the Spring Special Olympics, New York State Games on May 4th, 2024. Please visit our school website for more information regarding volunteer opportunities. We're going to need probably between 400 and 600 volunteers. A lot of people have already stepped up and signed up, but we're definitely going to need more people. So please, obviously our PTAs, all of our community groups, we would urge you to become involved, and we'll be looking forward to collaborating with everyone and making it a beautiful day for all of our special athletes. Congratulations to our current senior athletes on our athletic teams who have committed to playing in college next year. All our D1, D2, D3, JUCO, and NAI fall commitments will be celebrated tomorrow, Wednesday, March 6th. Community members who registered for our adult continuing education program are currently participating in our spring program over the next 5 to 6 weeks. Our high school student leadership team is bringing Choose to Include Day to the high school, hosted by the Special Olympics. On March 6th, we'll be acknowledging why we chose to include and celebrate all of our differences. Congratulations to fourth grade student Gabrielle Nielsen for being one of the winners of the Popsicle Stick with Art contest. Gabrielle created a fantastic dinosaur using popsicle sticks as her medium. Gabrielle and her art teacher, Mr. Fasara, will now use the contest prize money to shop for art supplies that build equity in arts education. Middle school teachers, Hallie Maestra and Sabrina Golub, are organizing a polar plunge team to help raise money for our Special Olympics this year. If you'd like to join our Plain Edge Pride team for the Town of Oyster Bay Polar Plunge that benefits the Special Olympics, please register at www.polarplungenewyork.org. The plunge will be held on March 23rd. Somebody already asked, was I going to be doing the polar plunge? The answer is no. Watching the polar plunge. Okay. Also, in the coming weeks, we have a number of different capital projects. We'll have a capital update in the next month or so, but the athletic center is moving along quite well. It's in its final stages. We're still looking for a certificate of occupancy. We're working with the authorities on that. So there'll be more information. We'll be speaking more about it in detail on March, at our next meeting on March 19th. And we're looking forward to getting our students active inside of the area that's been under construction now for a period of time. We've received, our teachers have had the opportunity to walk through. Obviously, it's not occupiable yet for the masses, but it will be soon. And we'll be sure to have a kickoff event. We'll be inviting the whole community where there'll be hours and such like that for our staff, as well as the community to come and visit to see what they authorized us to build and what's being completed. It's going to be a great resource for our students, our interscholastic programs, and our community members in the near future. So we'll be working on that. More information will become available in the near future. And that concludes the superintendent's announcements, and that's my, I'd like to thank everybody for participating tonight and with the programming. The STEAM teachers are an amazing group of people that are basically given nothing, a blank canvas on a regular basis. And they're able to create on an annual basis, from attending conferences, from doing presentations. They represent Plain Edge proudly on a regular basis. And yes, it is something that is interdisciplinary. And as I shared before, New York State Education Department does have a computer science curriculum that we are required to launch, and we will launch in the following school year, which will be a K through 12. So we're very excited about that. You'll be hearing a little bit more about that tonight. And at this point in time, that concludes our announcement. But I do want to thank our STEAM people for being here tonight. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Keep up the great work. And I'll turn the meeting back over to the president.
Thank you, Dr. Selena. Moving on, routine approvals, approval of the minutes of the February 6th, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 26th, 2024 board meeting? Mr. Paris, second. Dr. Neto? All in favor? Opposed?
Okay, 6 in favor, none opposed, motion adopted, motion passed.
Warrant reports 85 through 88. Do I have a motion to approve warrant reports 85 through 88? Mrs. Spagnolo, second. Mrs. Maggio, all in favor? Opposed?
Okay, 6 in favor, motion passed.
Treasurer's report, January 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the January 2024 treasurer's report? Dr. Neto, second. Mrs. Maggio, all in favor? Opposed?
6 in favor, motion passed.
And moving on to discussions and presentations, we have the third draft of the 2024-2025 budget. Mr. Perazzo, you ready?
Have to bring it up on the board.
If I said you ready?
I'm ready. I am ready. I am ready. Okay, here we go. Okay, we'll just take a look at the budget planning calendar for this month. March fifth, which is tonight, we're gonna see the tax cap calculation, as well as the curriculum and instruction budget and the administrative technology and programs budget. On Thursday, we'll have the health, physical education, athletics budget and the facilities and operations budget, followed up by our next meeting on the 19th. Dr. Guy LaValliant will present the staffing and enrollment budget. As we get into April, a few more presentations, capital project planning, fund balance and reserve plan, and the revenue budget. Just a reminder that there are two sides to the budget. There's the expenditure budget and the revenue budget. They're both separate budgets. We have to present a balanced budget. So the revenue side of the budget has to equal the expenditure side of the budget. And then we get into May with the all-important budget vote on the 21st. When we first met in January, we came out with a budget of almost $1.6 million. It was a $4.7 million increase over the prior year, or 4.7%. When we met on February 6th, we had reduced the budget by $583,000, bringing it down to $105,405,000, or 4.14% increase. In this draft of the budget, we've eliminated another $717,000 from the budget. The budget now stands at $104,688,000, or a 3.43% increase year over year. Any questions? Comments?
Thank you, Mr. Brazo.
Okay.
This time we're moving on to the
Yeah,
tax cap
yes.
calculation, which is the business department's responsibility. And Mr. Brazo, the floor is yours.
Okay, the tax cap limit as calculated is 2.22%. It's actually the same percentage increase as last year. Inflation factor that went into the calculation is 2.2%. While we all know that the actual inflation number was much higher this year, that was 4.12%. However, this is where the notion of the 2% tax cap comes in. So you're limited to the higher of 2%, the lesser of 2%, or the actual inflation factor. Couple of things that impact the tax cap calculation of building aid, debt service, new projects and old projects rolling off of building aid. This is the calculation itself. It starts with last year's tax levy. You have pilots in there. You have capital exclusions from last year and from this year, and you arrive at the maximum tax levy of $70,224,000, or 2.22% increase over the prior year. There's a quick snapshot of what the capital exclusions are. Capital exclusions are basically building aid, your aids less your offsetting expenditures that go against them. We're gonna now talk a little bit about the state's budget and our state aid. A couple of things that are new this year that the governor had put into her budget. One of our main sources or our main source of state aid is called foundation aid. And the formula that affects foundation, one of the formulas that affects foundation aid is a inflation factor. The governor came up with a new 10-year inflation factor. Instead of using the current year's inflation of 4.12%, she eliminated the lowest year and the highest year, and that brought down the inflation factor that they were using for the calculations to 2.4%. We're hoping that that change does not survive the legislature's budget. There was also something always in the state aid, which was called hold harmless, meaning that a school district wouldn't receive less foundation aid from the prior year. The governor's budget removed that provision from the budget that she presented. I know of one school district that lost $8 million in foundation aid, which is wreaking havoc on their budget. You know, as they're talking of layoffs. I think they're phasing it in over 2 years, but obviously if they're going to take over that money, they should phase it in over a much longer period of time. This is a snapshot of our, of the aid, the governor's, projection of aid for this year is 24,308,000 versus 24,221,000. Basically flat. We gave a little foundation aid, we have less BOCES aid, and then that number is about an increase of $88,000. I think you've seen this graph before. This just shows we'll just look at the last 3 years, what the inflation numbers have been. 4.12% this year. Tax cap was limited to 2%, 8% the prior year. The tax cap was limited to 2%, and 4.7% and the tax cap was once again limited to 2%. So, inflation does impact the district in many ways, whether it's utilities, supplies, expectations of employees, hiring. When we go to hire people, it's more difficult, because obviously we have difficulty keeping up with inflation given the constraints of the state aid and the tax levy.
I actually have a question. So the 8 million, the school district that lost the 8 million in foundation aid, do we know what the reason for that is? And, is Plain Edge at risk of losing?
Well, no. They were always operating under this hold harmless. So as the demographics of the community change and the enrollment changes, their aid never went down because of the hold harmless agreement. So this is a very big hit to them.
Okay. And I think, the only thing I would say is, I think in terms of hiring, a cap of 2%, wouldn't all school districts kind of face that same situation? Because we're all subject to the same rule.
Sure.
So, I mean,
That's why some
hopefully,
districts-
hopefully that helps us, not helps us, but it doesn't hurt us any more than like, other neighboring districts, because we're all facing the same type of pressures, I would assume, right?
I know of some districts that are eliminating positions
Buildings.
in our area.
Buildings.
Buildings.
And closing buildings. It's not that pretty out there.
I heard Amityville's doing about 37 to 42 people.
Yeah.
They're closing my building.
Are they increasing class sizes in those districts, or is it?
However, they have-
If they don't have
They
personnel.
haven't
they're
announced
gonna
how
have
they're
to-
gonna do it at this point in time, but you can do the math.
Right.
I eliminate 40 employees, teachers.
Right.
In general, not all, but I will tell you that's the majority. They will result in nothing but larger class sizes.
Mhm.
There's no other way to do it. That's just the way it's gonna be.
So, I mean, is there a way, and I'm sure you guys are thinking of this, but how do we plan, I think there's probably gonna be hardship in using state in terms of budgets. That's just kind of what I think we're all in agreement on that. How do we mitigate against that so that we keep class sizes small? Obviously, continue to maintain the I'll say balance sheet, but I know it's not a balance sheet, but the financial health of the district, keep it strong, so that we're able to, not face those hard decisions that other districts are possibly facing. I mean, what levers can we pull possibly to do that?
I think the numbers, as you can see, that we're inside the tax cap calculation shows one of the reasons that we're flat is that not everyone was on schedule. There were some districts that had, so first of all, the budget's not finished yet at the state level. So the second part is that these are things, this is also politics. So she wants something from them, and so this is what she's proposed. What the final outcome is going to be a compromise. I believe that the numbers, as you could show, our numbers continue to be flat. And one of the things that we've done at this board and has consecutively done in consecutive years is continue to look to keep it as low as possible so that we can continue to maintain a flat budget. By offering 3 zeros in the past 9 years, keeping the rate less than 0.9% over those 9 years, the actual net increases from budget to budget. Continuing to use our capital reserves in order to continue to fix our home. All very important and intelligent moves that were made programmatically. As you can see this year, when you take a look at the numbers and where they fall, there are places that are eliminating entire buildings. There are places, if you think about it, if you were to eliminate 50 teachers in this district here from one building, that would actually close an entire school. And God forbid that ever happens. But the idea behind it, though, is that I think from the good fiscal planning that we put in place here today, all right, coupled with I believe that the numbers, they're not the same for everyone. So when we talk about the hold harmless, I believe that we're on schedule at this point in time where I don't see that we'll be at a large risk moving forward at this point in time. If we continue to be prudent about our finances and to be sure that we're obviously placing money where it needs to be.
The districts that are being hurt by the harmless would in all likelihood have overpaid for many years. So I mean, that's,
Well, I appreciate the clarity. Thank you.
Questions from the board? Thank you, Peter. At this time, I'm going to talk about one of the biggest parts of what we do every single day is about our curriculum instruction. And we have a incredible team that's going to be here with us, that's going to work with our assistant superintendents for curriculum instruction. So I'd like to thank them in advance. And I'm going to turn the floor over to them. And I want to thank you for working together to share the budget for next year for curriculum instruction.
Hi, thank you. Welcome to our presentation for next year's budget for curriculum instruction. As we go through the presentation, you'll notice some overarching facets of each of our slides. And all of these things exist K through 12, where we're focusing on cross-curricular endeavors, vertical alignment, the next generation learning standards. You're going to notice a theme as we go through each of the subject areas. And we also want to make sure that we remind folks that we're constantly using data of all the instructions that we're making. These are some of the programs that we use, NWAI Excel at the elementary level, up to the analysis of our regents and our AP exams as we get to the secondary level.
Ms. Honeyman,
Yes.
share who's working with us here tonight. So I know we all know each other.
I don't want to
Some people here that do
All
not
right.
know who they are.
Let's
Right.
back up a few slides.
Thank you very much.
I'm Catherine.
I know you want to get out of the gate, and I'm with you.
I'm sorry. Everybody,
I'm Lisa Di Paola.
Curriculum Associates, Samantha Carcello and Annie Mary Klutzkin, who
Thank
work with us in humanities and math, science, and technology.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that. Good way to break it down. All right, so data onto humanities.
So humanities encompasses social studies, English language arts, and world languages. This year we rolled out programs, Youth Life Phonics, which you've heard about, for K2 students to support their phonics, and teachers are loving it. And we see that the students are very engaged in the program. We also are piloting No Red Ink in the middle school and the high school to support our grammar and writing, as well as the Acadians Progress Monitoring. Next year, we will be offering AP seminar for an ELA 10 credit, and that will be co-taught. And in the school year of 2025-2026, our students will be taking a new ELA region. So we have been working to ensure that we have the next generation learning standards in our curriculum and doing professional development around that, as well as social studies and working on the social studies framework. We've also been doing curriculum writing and professional development there. We've also revised our 7 through 12 world language standards and working on that curriculum. And recently we sent out a project opportunity to our K through 5 parents called Our World, Our School, which we are very excited about. And this is the start of our goal to offer our students the seal of high literacy in high school.
As far as math, science, and technology goes, there's many updates on state standards as well as state testing. Beginning this year, our students will engage in the Algebra 1 Next Gen Regents this June. Following that, subsequent years will engage in Geometry Regents and then the Algebra 2 Regents, both Next Gen. In order to support that, we're working on a new K-8 program for our elementary schools in mathematics. Additionally, with the New York State Science Learning Standards, in June of 26, our students will take the new Earth and Space Science Regents as well as biology. Following that, the next year, chemistry and physics regents. To support that, our students are currently engaging in our mystery science curriculum, which lets students do discovery and learn through phenomena. Our 5th grade students are engaging in our science investigations that will help them when they have to take the May exam in science, the new state exam. As spoken about earlier, next year we'll implement our K through 12 computer science and digital fluency standards in all grade levels. We're doing the work right now to work on the grade bands K through 8 And next year, which Dr. DiPillo will talk a little further about later, we'll have a high school computer science essentials course.
Okay, so we continuously love to offer our students courses that pique their interest. So we are constantly getting feedback from the guidance, as well as administrators and teachers, and as well as students of what their interests are and what classes that they would like to take in order to help them in their future. So with that, this list here that you'll see is a list of new course offerings between last year and this year that we have for our students. The first one, as Dr. Selena and Ms. Carcello had spoke about, Computer Science Essentials. This will be a new course that our incoming 9th grade cohort will have to take in order to graduate high school. So every student incoming high school next year will have that course. We have a college plain edge TV video production course. So Mr. White has built this program from the beginning with us, and he came to us and said, we'd like to partner with a college in order to offer our students who are doing all these great things between streaming events for us, creating their own media content to receive college credit. So we're happy that we're going to be able to do that. The next one is a lot of our students, former students have come to us and said, we leave here, we go into the nursing field, the medical field, or some of those medical sciences. And they felt that they really could have taken advantage of having a course of anatomy. So we created a course that's called Introduction to Life Sciences, and it's going to have anatomy and physiology, but it's also going to have emergency response certification. So any student taking that will leave there with a certification in CPR, AED, and first aid. Other courses that we're happy that we're able to offer our students is Sustainability and Hydroponics, Certified Personal Trainer course, Emergency Medical Technician. And of course, with any of these courses, we have to have a minimum enrollment in order to run it. The other course, we have college pre-calculus, and then going to the one that Klutzkin had talked about is AP Seminar for 10th grade ELA students. So this is allowing us to offer to our 10th grade students to receive their high school ELA credit while also getting an AP credit at the same exact time. And then it allows for them to hopefully move to the next part of the course, would be AP research. And then if they complete that, they can get the AP capstone for their graduation. So we're very excited. Mrs. Klutzkin has done a lot of research with the team and visited other schools with some of our teachers to ensure that we are setting it up in that co-teaching model to set our students up for success. As you saw before, we had our amazing STEAM team present our STEAM overview for K through 5. We do have pre-K through 12 here. One of the STEAM specialists actually goes in on a monthly basis and provides that to pre-K students. And we continue these endeavors all the way through the high school. So as you can see here, a list. This list encompasses not only elementary STEAM experiences, but also ones in the middle school and high school. So we're very happy to continue to offer that robust enrichment wheel in middle school, and going up to our research components that you just heard. We're really trying to, capture more students in our research program. Our STREAM events, we constantly love making that home to school connection with our families during Family STEAM Night. Pretty much sold out already. I think there's just a couple of seats here and there. Yes, yeah, they're available. It sells out almost instantaneously. Parents are like, when can we know what the workshops are as soon as that reminder goes out? So we're happy that we're going to be doing that again. We have a lot of new additions. The EDGE events, we had Edge of the Arctic last year, Edge of the Ocean this year, where they get to see virtual field trips live and get to interact with professionals and do fun activities. We have our Student Robot Connection, which is a 3rd, 5th, and high school opportunity to celebrate our Earth Day through coding. We have International Dot Day that pre-K through 5 do every year and celebrate throughout our buildings. Our students constantly, and parents, a parent had stopped me and couldn't believe the robotic competition over last month that the middle schoolers partook in. We're very happy to keep offering those forensics and robotic competitions, and our high school students have been participating in LISA. I actually am happy to announce that I don't know the results of today's, but we did have a high school student being represented in the finals today. Her name is Damaris Frey, and her project was about having a AI machine predict and feel out the emotion from the political candidate's speech. I'm just gonna leave it at that. We'll have her eventually come in and explain more to hers, but that is the overview that she was presenting on today. You already saw the great things, so we were going to show you the video there, but the students wanted to see the video with their parents. And the next piece is our character education and civic readiness. We'd like to congratulate everyone at John H. West and Plain Edge Middle School for becoming New York State Schools of Character. We'd also like to congratulate Charles E. Shorting, East Plain Elementary and Plain Edge High School for getting honorable mention. We are continuing reflecting and taking that feedback and reflecting on our practices and evolving our character education program. Also, just to let everyone know that John H. West and Plain Edge Middle School, because of their scores, are moving on to the national round, so they will be nationally reviewed, and I think we will have success. So we will keep everyone updated on that. And we're continuing to build these character education programs through the use of our Competent Kids Caring Communities, as well as Character Strong programs. Advisory will continue to be at the middle school. We are starting advisory at the high school this year. Students are starting to get into their advisory groups, and a full rollout will be next year. And we are looking in the upcoming years to apply for the Seal of Civic Readiness in order for our students to be able to achieve that before they graduate.
So in addition to the K through 12 program that we offer, the Curriculum Instruction Department is also responsible for those things outside of the school year. So during the summer, as you know, we have summer enrichment programs that are robust, from the K through 8 summer enrichment, Reader Leader. The extended school year for special ed is year round. Middle school transition, 6th grade transition camp, sail into kindergarten, as well as the before and after care for morning and afternoon enrichment. And of course, our adult education program, as you all know, pickleball is absolutely off the hook. I understand that volleyball is coming a close second. And now recently, we're also offering beginner guitar, as well as CPR, AED, and first aid training. So also to help keep our community safe, which will be a nice addition. Professional development is also something that we spearhead very closely with all of our building administrators, as well as our teacher center and our teacher experts. We really work as a community of learners to support one another. We do superintendent's conference days. We plan for those Tuesday meetings every month. We have at least one meeting with professional learning community where teacher leaders and administrators work together to make sure that we're preparing our teachers for all of the things that we need to do to ensure our students are successful. Our teacher center offers the new Teacher Institute, as well as a teacher mentoring program. Every one of our new teachers is mentored throughout the entire year on all of the different things that they need to do to ensure that our students are successful. And we'll continue to work along to make sure, as you heard about the next generation learning standards, that we're prepared for all of those new assessments that are going to be coming out, so that we're really working together as a team.
New York State Master Teachers are a network of K through 12 STEM teachers who have a passion for learning, collaboration, and continual growth. They work to enrich their content and connect disciplines. It's a very rigorous process they go through that focuses on pedagogy, STEM content, and also student connections with families and community. For national board certification, that helps to elevate teaching and enrich student learning, also to reflect on student learning. There are 4 areas of excellence that the teachers have to achieve in order to be nationally board certified: content and knowledge, differentiation and instruction, teaching practice and learning environment, as well as effective and reflective practitioners. In order to maintain this, they have to reflect upon their journey and constantly evolve. As you see, we have 14 New York State Master Teachers and 9 National Board Certified Teachers. These teachers span all 5 buildings, all grade levels, all content areas. Also, we have the highest percent in both areas of any district on Long Island.
Yes, I'd like to note that having 14 master teachers and 9 national board certified teachers is an extraordinary accomplishment by our professional staff. And I just like to give them a big round of applause.
just to let the board know too, that comments have been made to us is that how do you get that many teachers to want to do this? Because it is both of those are rigorous processes, and they are constantly going to professional development. They'll say, we have to go because we have a 2-hour professional development that they have to go across the island to do to work with other colleagues. So it's really a remarkable achievement by our professionals here.
As we've mentioned, this is a very rigorous process, and we want to congratulate our 2023-2024 recipients. We have 2 New York State math repeaters this year, Mary Beth Mescola from Schwarting and Arlene Salazar, and we'd love for you to come up and recognize.
Mary Beth could not be here tonight, but we can recognize her at another board meeting, but she is fortunately was unable to attend. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
And we have 1 national board certified teacher, and that is Julianne Billinger.
I think she's a little bit of an overachiever because she's on both those lists.
Congratulations.
So our budget for this year, you'll see the year-to-year change is an increase of $135,339, just under 11%.
So as you can see here, this is our recommended budget and the different categories of our budget. And as you can see, the one main budget driver here is under the BOCES services. And that is due to our new computer science and fluency and digital standards that we will have to be implementing K through 12. So that is the main budget driver here for that increase. Any questions?
Once we receive the seal of civic readiness, does that go on the diploma for the graduates? It will be the seal
Once-
that's on.
Once they meet the requirements of that.
Yeah.
I know most are educators, so I'm not, so I apologize for being ignorant on some of these. What exactly does co-taught mean?
So it is by 2 teachers. So we're going to have an ELA and a social studies teacher. That has been proven to be the successful model across Long Island districts that are implementing that for the English 10 class.
Okay. And then I've heard a lot of this next gen stuff, but I have no idea what that means. Especially when it comes to math, it's confusing to me because, you know, maybe I'm old school, but math seems to be like not something that would change. So I have a hard time understanding like how standards could change, I guess.
So Common Core went out the window. They rolled it into next generation learning standards. The state is constantly revising this as things change. You know, in teaching methods, they have decided to then, you know, take their standards, realign them, and we sit there and analyze it with a team of where they belong.
So does that mean I can now actually help my first grader with their math homework? But before it was, I was unable to do that.
We can help.
I guess that depends on the person, so, but that's what the state is constantly changing their course titles. As you could see in the science, living environment is now going to be called biology. Earth science is now going to become earth and space science. So it's just the way the state is aligning their standards.
Other questions from the board at this time?
I just want to congratulate Ms. Salazar and Ms. Fillinger.
Yes.
My kids have had you and it's well deserved, so.
Thank you very much.
Can I invite the 2 teachers to come and take a quick picture?
Yes, let's go. Ask the board to please join us in the front. Maureen, you're on.
He's shy. So you guys go in the middle. No, you.
Go on,
no,
go on.
no, yeah.
I don't know if you were just doing one.
Like a post-it one. Thank you again. Congratulations.
Can I also comment, I mean, the AP capstone, the seminar and the research portion, I work in a district that utilizes that and the amount of work that goes in, but the abilities and the ability that our students, the students that take this class come out with are far away. And the fact that we're looking at co-taught classes, or it's the humanities coming together, it's just the way to go. It builds confidence in our students, because not only do they have to do the seminar portion, there's a lot of public speaking, there's presenting their research. So I am very, 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 very excited for our students, because it's proven to be an example of how well our students could do, and I'm really, really excited to see how it works out. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you. We're excited.
Yeah.
Next up, Instructional Administrative Technology budget presentation. I'd ask Dr. LaValliere to take the floor, please.
Thank you, Dr. Selena, Board of Education. Always a pleasure to present to you. Just two quick things before I start. Just a shout out to Debbie Fallon for winning the Asset Award. Very proud of her, especially being so connected to the organization. And also just to let the board know also that we were the first school district to actually have students present at a regional technology conference. And we keep hearing kudos from our colleagues across districts on how well they present and how impressed they are by our STEAM programs. Many of them just visited recently. So just kudos to the program and to our students who really make us proud and represent us really well. And to our teaching staff, who's just amazing and just keeps impressing us and doing great things for kids. I wanted to mention that before I start. Structural technology, obviously, we have core beliefs surrounding it that obviously project-based learning, inquiry, differentiating instruction, all things that technology helps leverage. Students these days, they really have not lived in an era without technology. They see it as an extension of their brain, and they cannot imagine a world without it or having access to the tool when they want to use it. We always hear about the 4 C's, obviously things like critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity, which is embedded in all of the curriculum strands that we have here, and obviously in the STEAM stream programs that we have in the district. Years ago, when I first joined here, the board had the foresight to develop some goals, which we have continued to use and build the program around, things such as creating critical tools for critical thinking, problem solving, and innovation, and access from any place, any time, which really helped us to pivot very quickly during remote learning during the pandemic. This is just an illustration. We have many, many things, apps, devices, portals, or other software that we use. Obviously, we have all these things surrounding our teaching staff, experts that can be brought in through video conferencing. Parents obviously are a pivotal part of the program and the learning process. So all these things kind of tie together through our different programs and remote learning platforms. We continue to leverage our extensive one-to-one program, K-12. This is just an illustration of the different Chromebooks that we use to do that. We have over 3,000 devices deployed, and grade 1, grade 12, and grade 11, they will be replaced coming up, and that'll translate to grade K, getting new Chromebooks, grade 2 and grade 12 as they progress up in there. And we also have some staff devices that'll be replaced. You've heard a lot about the STEAM program, so I'm not going to expand on that. Obviously, a lot of the stuff you see in the curriculum instruction presentations throughout the district are supported and back-ended by the technology and IT infrastructure and budget. Planetarium is really cool. Press the planet, insert that. We actually showed it to the asset group, and they were really wowed, not because we have a cool planetarium, but because of the curriculum that is being taught and the customizations that Kevin and Mr. Fuchs have, Mr. White and Mr. Fuchs have done with the program. And actually, the company that has planetarium has reached out and integrated some of those customizations to use with their other educational clients. So really kudos to you, really well done. You heard about block coding and drones. I'm not going to elaborate on that. We have an extensive sports media production program and television production program headed by Mr. White and others that help in the program. Obviously, students at the football stadium can learn sports media production, a state-of-the-art facility, and in the high school in our television production studio. We're also doing morning announcements now, I believe, that Mr. White's been working on, which is great. So we look forward to that continue. We live stream a lot of things here, including tonight's board meeting. A lot of our events, athletic events, are live streamed through various systems that we have, whether it's a live production through the athletic stadium equipment, or through the Huddle system, or through other remote devices that we have to live stream, so that parents can come in, and we have well over 16,000 viewers remotely attending events annually. So it's really great to bring people in. We have an esports program we started a few years ago, which continues to be successful. Esports has become really big in the education system of Long Island. Oh, I apologize. This is a historical budget perspective. We're down 1.39%, reduction of $35,000. And some of the new initiatives for next year are a new Mac lab in the high school for our graphics and digital photography program. We need to replace an ID card system that we have. And we continue to expand the workflow system for human resources, which we're very successful with this year in implementing. And we want to go to phase 2 of that next year. Those are some of the main things in the budget, including others. We're at around 2.38%, less than the 5% that's typically recommended, but still well funded, and we have a really successful program. This is the categories of budget expenditures. Again, we're down a little bit. And over the years, we have worked to move as many things into BOCES services as possible, because we do get aid back on that. So that's really helpful. We get about 50% of the money back on those budget codes, which is helpful in revenue. These are just some projects. We've done a lot of other things too, but we replaced Chromebooks in grades K1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 this year. Did iPads in the STEAM program, new iPads. We continue to support all remote environments, virtual environments, our back-end network, our cybersecurity initiatives, our backup systems, and we've automated some of the camp creation, modification, disabling to make it more efficient. We've had the fitness center, with Dr. Selena spoke about earlier. We did a lot of work on sound in there. We retasked TVs that we used for COVID, like the ones mounted on that stanchion there. We had about 250 of them. So we built really cool video walls, which will be used for both instruction and interactive immersive experiences in the fitness center. We use the existing equipment for that. We've done a lot of work on access control and video surveillance over the years. Every year we look at all the things in the district, do an analysis, do an evaluation on whether we need to replace, what do we need to upgrade, and that's done annually. Initiatives for next year, obviously our one-to-one program continue to support that, replacing the Chromebooks that I illustrated in the other chart, continue to support our STEAM program and all of our virtual environments and interactive classrooms district. And just a shout out to the IT group. We have Juan and Gianni here tonight. They really fall above and beyond. They are the best team I've ever worked with. They really, really support students, families, and teachers at a level that's just really do a great job, guys. Any questions?
I just want to thank you for the work you do. Not every, like, education or maybe life is funny in that semantics matter. So every district said they have one-to-one devices, but often many districts mean when the kids come to school, they have a device to use. So at a time when districts are struggling right now to take those tests, they have to be done on the computer. Kids don't know how to use the computers like our kids do. And I walk into classrooms every day, and they're clueless. And I mean, I don't teach it. I teach reading, so I don't feel bad. But I am wowed by what our kids can do. But that's because years ago, you guys had a plan, and it just keeps rolling. I'm very proud at what has happened here and how we're ready for anything. So thank you for that.
Yes, any other questions? I think one thing to note too is the fact that the budget increase are not even really statistically relevant, and you're still able to complete these programs and have that type of output. And those fifth graders that were just here, I mean, they will graduate in what, less than 7 years, they will be high school seniors. And they are prepared really now to go on and do that and use all those technology pieces. Also, Dr. Selena mentioned the interdisciplinary and the new generation learning standards and how we're really able to, implement all of that now. And you can see that tonight when the students presented to us. So thank you again for everything that you're doing. And we really appreciate it. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bowman.
Thank you. Okay, Nassau BOCES nominations.
Any discussion on this? So, just to, let people know what that is speaking to. There are 3 people that sent resumes to the Board of Education for their consideration, which is, people that are incumbents at this point in time. It's Michael Weineck. He's been on Nassau BOCES trustee for 21 years. Susan Bertram, who's been involved for at least 30 years. And, if you don't know Susan, she's at every conference and she's also the president. Martin Kay. Martin Kay's been involved with school boards and Nassau BOCES now for over 30 years. So these 3 people are running unopposed at this point. And obviously it's open for discussion for the board. They will ask, and you will see they're looking for the endorsement of boards of educations for the hard work and energy that they put into creating good Nassau BOCES programs. As you know, they suffered the loss of Dr. Dillon this year, their superintendent. So actually, the superintendent from Eastern Suffolk BOCES has come to take a place as they look to hire a new superintendent. So the board has really held it together and has developed what I believe will be a sound budget, which the board will be asked to vote on. There's only one day you can do that. That'll be on April 16th. We'll be looking to just hold a quick meeting on that. We'll let you know when that's going to be scheduled for the time of the day. It'll probably be in the late afternoon. But the idea behind it, though, is that these 3 people have, been, I've known them for many years on a professional level. I've seen them speak, and I think that they continue to do a great job. But that's for the board to decide ultimately. So I know many of you have relationships with them professionally. You've seen them at many conferences over the years, and they continue to provide leadership in Nassau County.
I'll just say that I know so many people personally. They've been, obviously, some of them 30 years. Susan's been a friend of ours for many years. They work with us on anything we need from BOCES. Obviously, they're running on a post, so there's really no one to choose from. So I just think that we should support them tonight, as we always do.
The resumes are attached that you received that to look over, but they all have really excellent credentials.
Any questions from the board? Thank you.
All right, business. Do I have a motion to accept business items number 1 through 17? Mr. Paris? Second, Dr. Neto?
Madam Chairperson, at this time, I'd like to introduce item number 18, an addendum, settlement agreement and general release. Resolved that the board president is authorized to execute the settlement agreement and general release dated February 28, 2024, executed by employee number 00482, which agreement has been reviewed by the Board of Education in executive session. At this time, I put this forward and I ask the board to please consider items under new business, items number 1 through 18, as amended.
Do I have a motion to accept business item number 18?
All items as amended.
Yeah, all items as amended. Mr. Paris, second. Mr. Spagnolo? Opposed? Abstaining.
Wait a minute. All in favor?
All in favor, sorry.
All in favor, please,
all in
hands.
favor,
I'd like to
sorry.
see hands, please. Thank you.
Opposed? Abstaining.
Thank you, everyone.
6 in favor, motion passed as amended.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Pride in Plain Edge, this is the opportunity for board members to present on attendance or participation at a school and or a community event. Dr. Neto?
Yeah, so right before our February break, I got the opportunity, I think a bunch of us were there at the Best Buddies Fashion Show. The night just embodies empathy, compassion, collaboration, inclusivity that makes Plain Edge a wonderful place to live, learn. So thank you to Miss Bernard, Miss Nee, Miss Amato, all the professionals that were working there, the teachers, the teachers' assistants, the students. It's an amazing opportunity to see. I left there with a smile on my face, awe-inspiring. Just kind of congratulations to the students that were there. Also congratulations to the parents who are encouraging these bonds to form, because as we talked about, we have elementary best buddies all the way to high school. So the bonds that our students are forming are true and long lasting. As you can see, they had people come from who graduated many years ago, and their bonds are still there. They still meet up for coffee and for opportunities. So it's just kind of building skills that go well beyond the classroom. And I just want to congratulate the district. And like I said, Miss Bernard, Miss Nee, Miss Amato. Also last night, I had the privilege of attending our string festival. I felt like I was at New York City Philharmonic. It was amazing. It was packed to the gills, the program, the auditorium, Miss Yedwab, Miss Rotolo, the passion that they show. I wanted to get up and play. I can't play anything. But just to see the students responding to that passion, just the level of expertise and the fact that it bridges our middle school to high school, shows that our arts are second to none, our music program second to none. I just want to kind of highlight individual students that wowed. William Mincher, I think he's a junior. He actually guessed conducted, putting it together works I can't do. A Dua Lipa song for our it was amazing. He was up there, he commanded the stage. And I think Mr. Perazzo and I were just talking the whole night about the soloists, the 3 soloists that played. They're well on their way to either Juilliard, wherever they want. I'm going to go see them play. I have to name their names. Gabriella Manfrey, Charlotte Rosenberg, and Ava Pallone. Ava Pallone actually was the conductor and the soloist. And the students just played along with her. And I was tired by the end because she was using the cello. Like, it was just amazing to see. So just another night highlighting the extracurricular activities that our students have. And we all know that the arts have such a big role in kind of helping our students become great citizens, social emotional learning as well. So I just want to thank, and I can't wait tomorrow night to the band festival. Unfortunately, can't make it. I'm going to be at soccer, but I'm going to be live streaming it. So that connection between the technology, Mr. White. Good. So I just want to congratulate our staff and our family members, because those students that are in these high level chamber orchestras, they have to get up early to drive their kids to school. They have to listen to these songs over and over and over again at their home. And again, coming from back in the day when I remember the pizzicato, the pluck, 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 merrily moving along, all the way up to these individuals, I couldn't be prouder. And I just want to say thank you. And it was a pleasure to be there last night. So that's all thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, sure. I'll echo Dr. Netto's sentiments. Best Buddies fashion show, that was my first ever attending, and it was actually electrifying. I went there with my some of my kids, and you know, they were up and dancing too. Although one of them is kind of bashful, so she wouldn't. But you know, afterwards we were talking about it, and they had a great time. And they're part of the Best Buddies program, so you know, hopefully they stick with it and they'll you know, do that as well in the high school. Also, String Festival was great. You know, enjoyed that very much. Went to Plainage Park one Friday over at John H. West. It's actually a great thing that they're doing. I'm actually hoping that maybe that could be brought out elsewhere. Maybe at the Special Olympics, maybe we have a Plainage Park booth or something. That would be pretty cool if that's doable. And the last thing is I went to the New York State Championships. The final round happened to be really close, an hour plus drive away, and got to watch some really great wrestling. You know, not a great wrestler myself when I was wrestling, but watching the talent that we have on display in the championship rounds was pretty spectacular. You know, a lot of hard work and dedication obviously goes into something like that to get to that level. And you know, my son and I enjoyed it, and it was really amazing. And I know that this particular season was a very special season for Plainage Wrestling, so I'm excited to see them, you know, when we honor them I think the next board meeting, which is Thursday. So I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Yes. Thank you.
I also was able to attend World Reading Day at East Plain School. East Plain is a beautiful school, and I was able to read to the pre-K class. And when I was done, they said that I did a great job. They were so funny and they're so smart. And the classroom is beautiful. The library is just beautiful. We do have beautiful libraries, but it's so amazing to be in a library where there's so much access to great books and just everything is very integrated with the curriculum that's going on in the rest of the classrooms and the rest of the content areas. So if they're doing a lesson in the room, they can just go to the library and, choose books that go along with the theme that they're studying. So that was really exciting. And the kids were just adorable. And, Best Buddies is just, it's a production, and having that type of coordination where students are singing and dancing and connecting to each other like that, and, making lifelong friends is amazing. And we did have coverage on News 12, and a lot of my colleagues called to say how great the program was because they had seen it on News 12. So it definitely, covers Nassau County where we get that excellent coverage. So that was also very exciting. Okay, anyone else? Good. Okay. All right, moving on, new business, late buses. Before we say anything about late buses, I would like to ask that Dr. Selena just explain some of the information that has been provided for late buses over the years so that we can kind of have a framework of what we're talking about before Mr. Bailey speaks.
Okay. So in the winter of 2021-22 school year, the district hired a consultant to design a plan to review our entire transportation operation and to look at our available equipment, available drivers, and to design late buses. The goal was to have 2 series of late buses at the middle school and the high school. One of them was for the academic students or club students, an hour after school. And the other was for sports in the afternoon. From when we first started off, there was 2 buses, an hour after school and also at various hours. So we originally tried to catch more of the students in the later afternoon, kept the libraries open. And, we also had parameters in order for the program to be successful. It needed a minimum ridership on of 10 people per day, right? In order for it to be fiscally sound. We struggled with that. So parents reached out and said, the times don't work, change the times then. So we changed the times the first time, and we then ran empty buses then for a period of time. We heard from parents again to say, is there ever going to be a time when in the afternoon when there'll be multiple buses where you'll be able to get us at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock? So we knew when we first started this, that the plan and the design was knowing well that our facilities are utilized from 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 9 or 10 o'clock at night, depending on the season, and that all the athletes for that second run would not apply, right? Meaning that there would not be a way for us to get one time, because parents did not want to wait. The kids did not want to wait. They needed to get home. They had homework to do. They're very busy. There has not been late buses in this district for over 22 years, all right? We brought them back. We ran a pilot program during the 22-23 school year. We varied the time to 3 different time frames at the request of parents, and listened to what the community was sharing. And what ended up ultimately happening is that we cut back the buses from 2 for each shift to 1, all right? And then ultimately we kept the 2 in place for the entire year over at the middle school, hoping that there might be some changes with the alterations that we made. We kept the library open and paid staff to be there in order to provide supervision. So when they were done with sports, they could be supervised. But the reality of the situation is parents picked up their kids, all right? Or they carpooled, or they continued to do the Plain Edge Way, and the things that we've experienced before. At the end of the program, even after we paid for that consultant service, we followed the plan. We adjusted the plan on the fly multiple times. It was not sustainable, all right? And there was no ridership at that point in time. We continue to look at, options for people, but that pilot was complete. that money no longer was placed there for the budget in order to run buses. Now let's couple that with what's going on in the industry today. You may not know this, but we own all of the buses that run on this property here. We own a garage, actually lease a garage from the Levittown Transportation Department there where we service all of our buses. There are 3 mechanics that work for the district. Those 3 mechanics on average drive 3 days a week, right? And the reason for that is that we still don't have enough bus drivers to handle just the routes that we currently are running today. So, and in addition to that, we've met with these companies out there like Student Services, Huntington, and have even considered paying for additional routes in order for us to be able to accommodate differently. But there's always this competition about where I have to be as a child. So parents are picking them up, bringing them home, giving them dinner, or giving them dinner in the car and getting them to the next destination. And the reality is that we can't get enough drivers in order to maintain what we have at this point in time. There are times when interscholastics is something that, we really need to seriously consider. There's been a couple of occasions where we've not been able to pick up students that we already had been contracted to pick up, which are located off-site at different schools. So these are things for us to consider as you move forward. It is a national bus driver shortage at this point in time. And I know the governor wants to focus on electric buses and this and that. It's not happening. All right. But the reality of the late buses here and the situation that we've experienced, all right, that is just an update for the board about what the board chose to do back in the 21-22 school year, was built into the 22-23 school year. That pilot was completed. And that's a status update of late buses at this point in time.
Any questions or comments?
So, Ms. Maggio and I spearheaded the bus program and school bus program. And the consultant kind of surprised us with some of the things he came out with. That we had, anytime we ran a bus in Plain Edge, we were required to run that same bus route in any school that children went to outside our district, any Catholic school, private school. So it wasn't just running 2 buses, it was running 8 to 9 bus routes a day. To even just to get our kids home, we had to provide that bus to every district, to every school outside our district. With the bus shortage today, I don't even know how we could do that, but that was something that surprised us that we didn't realize we had to do by law.
Mr. Mayruti had brought the topic up. Mr. Mayruti, the floor is yours.
Okay, I appreciate that. So the reason why I brought this up again, is because, just being out in the community, it's always been mentioned to me by a lot of parents, that this is something that they need, especially when you have, 2 parents that work. And so it's a difficult, endeavor to try to get your kid to after school activities. And obviously we all know the value of that. I refamiliarized myself with the presentation from April 7, 2022, and I listened to the audio of that again. And I recall at the time that this has been discussed 3 times in 11 years. Here we are the 4th time in 13 years. And the thing that I'm having difficulty with is, with such an outcry, let's say, for late buses, how is it that we're not getting ridership, right? Like there seems to be two sides of this equation that isn't necessarily reconciling. And so my concern is that maybe there's something that we're missing in the equation when we're doing this. And I'm not really sure what that is. I do have some ideas where I've heard other school districts in terms of like how they run their late bus situation may be helpful. And maybe that's the missing part of the equation to make it work. And it might create some pressures for, let's say, coaches and I don't know what you would call them, but co-curriculars, I guess we call them, for after school, in terms of clubs and stuff that we run. In terms of having set start and end times, there's a variety of ways. The other thing that dawned on me after, because I had raised this before, I think we had a prior board meeting where we had discussed about the Suburbans that are being rolled out. That probably might help also with the situation in terms of providing flexibility for after school, so that we're not running the large buses or even the smaller buses, but the Suburbans, maybe that will help also in terms of finding drivers to help execute some of these routes. And the other thing I recall, or when I was listening to the presentation, was that we ran the pilot program, but I think if we were going to go full force into running late buses, one of the things that was discussed was, having permission slips. I think when we did the pilot program, and I could be wrong about this, we didn't necessarily have permission slips. And I think if we have parents sign up for late buses, there might be more accountability towards that versus, maybe, and again, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, maybe then just going on the bus. But they're like actually getting parents square notification, fill out a form similar to like what I just did for sports. And then now there's kind of like that concept, right? So, I just come back to the situation that I know there's a need. Somehow we're not able to meet it. And I know it's like beating a dead horse and maybe it is a fool's errand, but it's one of those things that I just don't want to necessarily just give up, but maybe look at it from a different angle and see if maybe we can accommodate those parents who have a hard time trying to make, all the schedules work. I'm fortunate in that, my wife, right, after our fifth, she stopped working full time, so now that when we had our sixth, she's kind of like able to help shepherd them. And then I have some flexibility as well to be able to do those things, but not everyone is as fortunate. And so I just think that I would love to see participation in these after school activities go up. And maybe that happens by being able to give something like this, as similar to like another school that's similar to our size. I think Beth Page runs late buses. So it'd be interesting to see like what they do actually, if they still run the late bus program. I think larger school districts, maybe it's a little bit different. I think Massapequa, Farmingdale does it. Obviously not comparable. I think Levittown canceled their late buses. So, a lot, finding out similar sized districts and what they do and how they're making it successful might be helpful, to help us bridge those two sides of the equation, make the whole thing reconcile.
So I'll make a couple comments on some of the things you shared. So first of all, the idea of the Suburbans is a good idea. The issue with the Suburbans is that, we show up and whoever shows up gets on the bus. And what I mean by that is that I need to plan for maximum capacity. Suburban's not going to help me with that. So I don't think that that's going to be a viable option. We rotated the times around because parents told us that the times didn't work, but yet still we couldn't get 10 kids on a bus on an average basis. We adjusted that 3 times, changed the number of buses twice. I understand that people share that there's a need, but I will tell you this will be the conclusion of 13 years that I've been here. In the previous district that I was in, we ran 4 late buses 2 times in the afternoon, especially on the secondary level at the high school, and they were empty. All right, but we ran them because the community said that they needed them. We cut them back to 1, and then ultimately they were eliminated completely. So this is a common problem that happens across districts. Ridership is extremely low, and I think it's because kids are very overcommitted. I think they need to be somewhere and they're not willing to wait. Right, so even if I provided the supervision inside of the library where you could go and sit down and do your work, there was always this urgency to get to the next thing, whatever it was, whether it be dance or, dinner or the library or wherever you were going with your family. I think that the program itself, since we used the consultants to help us design it, listen, they're consultants, that's their job. We took their information, we basically made it our own, and then we kind of ran the program to see how it would work. I don't know what the answer is to get people to want to take a bus. I think that in an instantaneous gratification society that we live in today, that people are reaching out to their neighbors, their friends, and saying, Mr. Rudy, will you pick up Jimmy today? Can we take him home? And it's happening. It's been happening here, and I think people that have grown up here have experienced the same thing. In reference to the participation, we have the highest level of participation that we've ever had inside of our clubs and extracurriculars at the school. I know that's not everyone. We want to get as many kids and cast a wider net as possible, but participation is extremely high in our extracurriculars at the middle school and the high school, and interscholastic sports especially. But they end at all different times. That's the other problem. So you'd have to basically be running like an Uber in order to get all these people to where they have to go, and I don't think that that's realistic for us to consider, given the fact that if you ask the number of drivers that want to drive after 3 o'clock is on one hand. That's another problem. That's something that's real, all right? And sometimes we're begging people to learn, all right? Because I need to get them to an athletic, and we have our go-to people, and all of our bus drivers are amazing, but they have other obligations. So when they're done here, they leave, all right? So maybe even look for shift work people. You know what I mean? So we continue to look for drivers. I don't know what the answer is. But I will tell you that at this point in time, you know, from what we've experienced thus far, and I thought we were being very creative by flexing the times and the buses and the locations, listening to what parents were sharing with us. But there's too many moving pieces in the end, especially for the late afternoon one, the sports one specifically. And no one wants to wait. That's been my experience, our experience as a community. And that's what I've heard from the community in the end.
Can I just speak to that a little bit? Because Joe, I'm very passionate about this. You mentioned me when you were telling, like, as far as a mom who works and if a father who works, like I am that person. We can't get here to get our kids home and I'm not from here. So I didn't have friends to call. And then I think about the parents who don't have friendships that like now, you know, I have a lot more kids. I have friends to call, but I didn't have those kind of friendships. So I am very passionate about that because I want every kid to not feel like they can't get home or their mom's not going to be home from work and dad's not going to be able to pick them up. And that was very important to me. But it's true. They get right home. I was forcing my kid to stay. Joe was too. To say, I don't care. You're not going home with them. Stay till the bus. And the two of them are the two on the bus. I'm like, well, that's embarrassing. I mean, I hate to say it because I believe in my heart that if we could figure it out, we would use it. But it didn't prove to be.
By the way, ridership in the later hours is a problem across all districts because specifically interscholastic sports programs end at different hours. And that's just the way it is, especially in smaller districts like us, because there's only limited gym space that we have available. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, the programs need specific rooms in order to operate. So if you're either in wrestling or if you're in volleyball, we know specifically what the requirements are for that. And so we continue to evolve in those areas. We continue to grow programs, teams get larger at times. But at the same time, there are people here. I see kids running around here 8 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? They're wrapping up for the night, 8:30 at night. You know, parents are picking them up. Or they're getting rides home with their friends. A lot of them, the older teams, whether they come for additional workouts. So I think that the community spoke in the sense of that they were telling us as we constantly were changing what we were doing. But yet in the end, it just didn't seem to be a good fit for what we were doing here at the time. Could that change in the future? Perhaps, but I haven't seen that to date. And we received a lot of feedback for, it would come up on an annual basis. People would ask us about it. So the board took the charge, said, what can we do to do this? I said, listen, I'm not a transportation expert. Our transportation director is good, but let's get somebody that does this for a living. They did a study. The study came back. We implemented the study. Obviously, we tweaked it out a little bit more to kind of fit Plain Edge. But we took one of their 3 plans that they gave us in the end. And we didn't meet with much success, unfortunately. Because, listen, I'd be more than happy to have the buses run as long as we had bodies on them. But the truth of the matter is that it just didn't seem to be a good fit for us.
One other thing I wanted to point out too is I think that, you know, you mentioned that maybe the other districts are having success with it, but we don't know that data. And it could be that they have the buses ready, but nobody's getting on the bus. You know, and it could be that it is an expenditure. So if they're spending the money on it and they're not really looking at all of those kind of like budget lines, you know, it could be that maybe only one kid is getting on. And also a lot of parents, if your child's not a bus rider, you might not want your child to go on the bus in the afternoon because you just don't feel comfortable with it. I mean, my son, he was here all hours of the night and he didn't get on the bus. We always picked him up or made arrangements somehow. He didn't want to get on the bus. A lot of the kids didn't. So, you know, a lot of the moms put all the kids in the car. They just drove them all home and you'd have, you know, a couple of kids in the car. You know, there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I would just say that it might be worth the call to Beth Page just to see.
I know Dave really well. And
Just
he and I
to have a conversation.
I can ask him.
That's all, but.
Yeah.
Maybe this, like I said, it's a fool's errand and, you know, it doesn't go anywhere. And we talk about it again in another 3 years. And it, you know, it just keeps going.
I have a feeling that if you did call, you know, Beth Page or any of the others, they would probably be like, oh, let me get back to you because I don't know.
Right. The interesting
They're
part
not gonna
about
know
it,
the answer.
There's a lot of parallels to Dave's, you know, size and ours here. But Levittown tried to do it too, and think about how large they are.
Right.
And they continue to try to get people to board the buses in Levittown. And they continue to run empty buses until ultimately they made a final decision and said, we will no longer offer our late buses here. But I'll give Dave a call, that I can promise you.
Appreciate that.
Okay?
And are the big buses allowed to go on the 135?
What's that?
The big
Yes,
buses.
most definitely, yes, 135 is the Parkway, yep.
Okay, because I saw it today.
It's Expressway, sorry.
There was a lot, but
Yeah,
I haven't seen a
135,
bus
yes.
like that.
Yes. Thank you for the
Anything else?
conversation, everyone.
On this topic,
Good.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Just one thing, I know that we're not talking about it, but just to give people a heads up, I know that at some point we're probably gonna talk about armed security. So,
Security in the schools?
yeah,
Mhm.
specifically armed security, so, you know, obviously I just want people to be on the lookout for that, because that's an important topic and, you know, something, not saying for or against, but something that I would like us to discuss and consider.
March 19th.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
we have that on we said for March, so it's March
Okay,
19th.
yeah, I didn't know,
We
so I
didn't
appreciate
forget.
that.
We were all made aware, so it's good. Thank you. March
Yeah.
19th.
Yeah, appreciate it, thank you.
All right, new business, there is no old business. Informational reports, do I have any questions on the informational reports? And now, no, okay, opportunity for public comment. All comments are directed to the Board of Education President. Each speaker is limited to 2 minutes in total. Each speaker is expected to use the microphone and clearly state their name. If anyone is ready to say anything tonight? No?
Okay.
Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Dr. Neto, do I have a second? Mrs. Maggio, all in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Great work, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.